So things are not going well for Donald Trump. Every single day, somebody else comes out and flips on him. And that is going to have consequences. So ABC News is reporting that his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, has been granted immunity by Jack Smith. And he told the special counsel that he warned Trump about his 2020 rigged election stuff being false. So here's what they say. Former President Donald Trump's final chief of staff in the White House, Mark Meadows, has spoken with special counsel Jack Smith's team at least 3 times this year, including once before a federal grand jury, which came only after Smith granted Meadows immunity to testify under oath, according to sources familiar with the matter. The sources said Meadows informed Smith's team that he repeatedly told Trump in the weeks after the 2020 presidential election that the allegations of significant voter fraud coming to them were baseless, a striking break from Trump's prolific rhetoric regarding the election. According to the sources, Meadows also told the federal investigators Trump was being dishonest with the public when he first claimed to have won the election only hours after polls closed on November 3rd, 2020, before final results were in. All right, let's pause here for a second. I don't know how many of you guys remember that. I mean, Trump's been denying the results of the election for so long now, but literally in the hours after the election, like he came out and said, no, I think we won this election. So Mark Meadows is testifying. He knew at the time when he first said it that it was bullshit, and he went with it anyway, and he was doing it for strategic reasons. So if Mark Meadows testifies to that, then Jack Smith has Trump's balls in a vice grip. He's in a lot of trouble, man. He's in a lot of trouble. Quote, obviously we didn't win, a source quoted Meadows as telling Smith's team in hindsight. Trump has called Meadows one of the former president's closest and highest-ranking aides in the White House, a special friend and a great chief of staff, as good as it gets. The descriptions of what Meadows allegedly told investigators shed further light on the evidence Smith's team has amassed as it prosecutes Trump for allegedly trying to unlawfully retain power and spread lies about the 2020 election. The descriptions also expose how far Trump loyalists like Meadows have gone to support and defend Trump. Sources told ABC News that Smith's investigators were keenly interested in questioning Meadows about election-related conversations he had with Trump during his final months in office, and whether Meadows actually believed some of the claims he included in a book he published after Trump left office, a book that promised to correct the record on Trump. ABC News has identified several assertions in the book that appear to be contradicted by what Meadows allegedly told investigators behind closed doors. According to Meadows' book, the election was stolen and rigged with help from allies in the liberal media who ignored actual evidence of fraud right there in plain sight for anyone to access and analyze. But, as described to ABC News, Meadows privately told Smith's investigators that, to this day, he has yet to see any evidence of fraud that would have kept now President Joe Biden from the White House, and he told them that he agrees with a government assessment at the time that the 2020 presidential election was the most secure election in U.S. history. Okay, so anyway, they go on here, and that's something that Trump can try to hammer away on, and Trump's attorneys can try to hammer away on, that this guy's a liar. Look, he says in his book that the election was stolen, but now he's telling you that he told me it wasn't stolen just to protect his own ass. So I don't know how all this will play out in court, but what I do know is there was speculation for a while that Mark Meadows flipped. Now we have verification that Mark Meadows flipped. And this is on top of Sidney Powell flipping. There was somebody else who was involved in the scheme in Georgia, some security guard who also flipped. We'll get to the story in a little bit, but one of his former attorneys, she flipped. And you mix all these people flipping in these different cases, by the way. Some of them are in the Georgia case. This one happens to be in the DC case with Jack Smith. It adds up. It adds up. And everybody's running for the hills and looking for a plea deal to protect their own ass. And in some instances, people are pleading. Sidney Powell pled to 6 misdemeanors and is on probation. And some are pleading to felonies. 1 felony, but also they're going to testify. And I don't know, man, it looks like it's all finally catching up with Trump. We already know the New York fraud case. He's found liable of fraud, so there's no escaping it. It's just a matter of how severe is the punishment going to be. But now in the Georgia case and in the D.C. case, the Jack Smith case, if everybody throws your ass under the bus and they all testify, I don't see how he gets out of it. I don't see how he gets out of it. We're so used to Teflon Don never being brought down and all that stuff, but right now, he's in a lot of trouble, and he knows it, which is why he's trying to control the political narrative. But when he's in those courtrooms, he doesn't have dick to say, because he knows in the court of law, he doesn't have good counter-arguments. He only can try to control the political narrative after the fact. That's why you always get these videos of him ranting while he's outside of a courtroom. But when he's inside, the judge tells him, hey, shut your mouth and sit there and listen. So Meadows flipping is a big deal. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them flip. Like, All of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Rudy Giuliani flips. No matter how close they were to Trump, remember, Trump has had 1,000 people who were super close to him, and he, at one time or another, stabbed them all in the back. So why wouldn't they return the favor? This is a big deal, man. Big deal. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.